Okay. And also Miss Han Hui Hui is our next speaker. Miss Han, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Han Hui Hui. On 15 April this year, I received a letter of demand from Singapore's biggest law firm, Allen and Gladhill. It states that I've defamed the Council for Private Education through my email, which was published to both mainstream and alternative media. I was only 21 years old and I was puzzled. How can then CPE, a statutory board, a government body, threaten to sue me, a Singaporean, for defamation? How is asking questions defamatory? Where is our freedom of speech? Is this what they call a fair and just society last night? So I sent a letter of demand to more than 10 law firms out there. But they were afraid to take up this case. That was when I know our courageous lawyer, Mr. M. Ravi. As a human rights lawyer, he explained that the freedom of speech enshrined in Article 14 of the Singapore Constitution protects Singaporeans from defamation proceedings by the government and public bodies. The right to sue for defamation is reserved only for individuals and private entities, not public bodies. On 19 April, I went to the High Court to seek declaration that CPE, being a government body, does not have the right to sue or threaten to sue Singaporeans for defamation. I am now seeking protection against these defamation suits via the Constitution and the ordinary laws of the land. This lawsuit is not for anyone, but for everyone, for the entire Singapore population, for the sake of our freedom of speech. I took up this case not because I'm against the government, but because of the love for our country, the need to protect human rights, our constitutional rights, our freedom of speech, our basic citizen rights. Who does the CPE report to? The Ministry of Education. Who does the MOE report to? The Parliament. Who pays them their salary? Us. We, the taxpayer. How can they use our money to sue us for defamation? The Attorney General Chambers is now involved as well. The fact that AGC, the government, is being involved further shows that our stand that the CPE, a government body under Ministry of Education, does not have the right to sue for defamation. If public bodies funded by the public can sue for defamation, this will result in a stifling of criticism or genuine grievances, especially from those who do not have such an amount of resources. How can they use their public funds to sue us? We should not allow public bodies to use lawsuits to silence criticisms against them. Why is the government going against our most creative cartoonist, Mr. Leslie Chew? Did any of his word democratic cause violence? Or people to have inability to pay their bills? Or be forced to leave the country? So where is our freedom of speech and human rights? We need to protect our constitutional rights. This is our basic right as a Singaporean. We need to build a stronger and more inclusive Singapore. So can we have our freedom of speech to hear the voice of everyone? If we do not have the freedom of speech, who watch the watchdog? Who will be able to question the authority? There are more than 60 statutory boards in Singapore, providing public service from housing to healthcare to education and the arts. The court's ruling will have an impact on criticism of such public bodies and the right to free expression of members of the public. The actions and policies of public bodies have such high impact on states that it is unacceptable that they can silence criticism through fear in the form of litigation. Public bodies have more than enough means to defend for themselves and their reputation in the first place. So our constitutional right must be upheld against being sued for defamation by public bodies. Many people post many comments online, claiming that they want to change Singapore, they want to help Singaporeans. But how many did do action? And how many people will walk their talk? I'm now standing here, presenting myself as someone who wants to uphold our constitutional rights. In my own name, I'm seeking declaration for the High Court to declare that statutory board, being a governmental body, does not have the right to sue or threaten to sue Singaporeans. I can forget about this case. I can forget about this lawsuit. I don't have to fight this lawsuit, especially when they are trying to negotiate with me now. But I want to protect the rights of all other Singaporeans out there. Should we fight for our constitutional rights and the future of Singaporeans? Without the freedom of speech, how can we Singaporeans and the future generation hold the government accountable if they keep suing people into silence? How will we ever know, even if they are in the wrong? It would be contrary to public interest for government bodies to be able to sue for defamation, and this will lead to an undesirable factor on the freedom of speech. If we do not love Singapore, if we do not love our own country, would we be here today? No! Where is our freedom of speech and human rights? I'm putting myself in a very big risk as a landmark case. I'm facing the probability of being a lawsuit should I proceed with the trials and the hearings. Tonight, we will be releasing information on how we can all help and contribute towards this case. Singaporeans, it's time for us to play our part for the sake of our future. Thank you very much. Happy National Day and Selamat Hari Raya.
Thank you, Hui Hui. Thank you very much. It is really heartening that young Singaporeans like Ms. Han, Geraldine, and we have one more speaker, Mr. Osman afterwards. We have young people coming up to speak. This degree of concern is certainly good and augurs well for Singapore. Mr. Lee, you have nothing to worry. Mr. Lee, please don't think about fixing us. We are here for you also. We are here for Singapore.